No, it comes up when you type it. Hey, welcome to another episode of Lawal Love. I'm
Happy
John
Wednesday.
Lawal.
Oh, I'm Adrian Lawal. Or
Oh, yeah.
Holly, depending on how you know me.
Yeah. Finally, we could do it.
Okay, now I get it.
You get it,
I didn't
right? Now you
understand
can
that
just swipe it
before.
away.
Yeah.
Boom. All right.
You learn something every day.
Yeah. So how y'all doing out there?
Um,
Good. I heard that. Now let me stop.
okay.
But what we gonna talk about today?
Today we're discussing the struggles with being a parent and adulting in terms of like where to live. So we bought our first home like almost 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in January.
Yep.
And we live in the city. And the city doesn't have like the best schools. And right now we pay an astronomical amount for our kids to go to school.
Yeah.
And we're thinking like if we moved to the best school district around us, then we'd have to pay more in like taxes and everything. But would it be better to do that? Because I have a theory that if you live in a not the greatest neighborhood and you pay for your kids to go to private school, that somehow the not so good neighborhood can sometimes have more
of an influence
than the great school you sent them to, and then all your money's flushed down the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's a good idea to consider moving to a better neighborhood in the best school district and invest your money there. But I mean, when you think about that, like long term, you're paying those taxes forever, even once your kids aren't even in school. So I don't know.
It's a decision we have to come to.
We are struggling with.
Word.
So, and I think it makes a difference when you have black kids, which I know some people may disagree with, but I think that like since we have African American children, they're going to have a different experience and living in a neighborhood with a bunch of kids that look like them.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something to be said for that.
That's gonna
like
be
if
hard.
we move to a
Well, I grew up in a public school. I was never around white kids until college. Yeah, and you
were the only black kid in my class for a long time.
So I don't know how that feels. So I really don't know how that feels. You can help our kids with that.
To me, like if you're gonna be successful for the most part, I believe that like that's what your world is gonna look like. So I think there's definitely some like benefit to that, to know how to like navigate the world where everybody doesn't look like you.
Yeah,
do you know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
Yeah, so I feel like there's definitely some benefit to that. But no matter where we send them to school, like they're gonna be surrounded by mostly white people because the best schools are filled with mostly white people. Thanks, that's how America is.
Yeah.
So so what basically like the dilemma is, do we stay in like a more diverse neighborhood that isn't the best neighborhood and pay for them to go to school, or go to a neighborhood that also is like not very diverse and send them to public schools in that neighborhood, and then they really have like no access to
I say we
brown people.
I say we move to the suburbs, because growing up in New York City, like the outside influence is much more. It was stronger than the household.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like our list, it was just much stronger. And I'm outside the house more than I am inside the house. So
also too, like I'm their mom, and so like I feel like a lot of their influences are gonna come from me and you, and like their grandparents, and none of us are really like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not gonna be able to relate to the people around us if we stay.
No,
yeah.
Even now. Like where we live now, we can't really relate.
We don't like really talk to anybody. So I don't know. It's hard because like if it was just us,
we wouldn't care. It won't be a matter.
Would not even care.
It's crazy because we were thinking about our future, what we want to do, but then like just thinking about having kids and they be the priority of where you want to live, because of the school district is a whole different. A whole different influence on us on how we're going to make our decisions and what we're going to do. Because I really never really thought about it until we talked about it today. I was like, oh, man, like, yeah, we got to really think about, where we want to move.
Yeah. To. I mean, it's honestly
is
a struggle.
Live, yeah.
Like, the neighborhood that we live in right now is, like, transitional.
So what that means is that there's a lot of crime, a lot of violence. But you know what? It's changed so much that it happened. That happened last year. Like there was a shooting outside the house. Like
the first year that we moved into our house, we moved in the wintertime, so there wasn't a whole lot of activity when we picked the house. But like we moved we moved into the house in January of 2017. Mm-hmm. We had Charlotte at home in March of that year. And then there was a shooting in April, like right across.
Yep.
Like not even like right across the corner from where we live. And then in July, there was a shooting directly across the street from us.
Where a girl got shot.
A 12-year-old girl.
She's 12? I thought she was 14. Whatever. 12, 14-year-old girl got shot.
It's a little girl.
Yeah.
But since then, that house has been knocked down.
Demolished.
Yeah, and so there's like...
Like literally, like bulldozed. We watched the whole thing. Damn, did not record it? We watched the whole thing. It was great.
I think I did send a recording to my mom because we were so excited.
And the house was like a haven for drug deals, like
and hookers.
There's a whole hub, like it was crazy.
I didn't even realize the hooker profession was so alive and well. Seriously,
yeah,
like because we live here and they still walk up to our car, like as if we're interested. It's crazy.
Yeah.
There was also a dumpster fire near our house that like warped our siding because someone was smoking crack. It was like a whole big issue. So, anyways, our neighborhood is sketchy sometimes. It's gotten better.
No, it's gotten way better.
Way better.
Way
but
better. But the
still
first,
a little sketch.
And you were like, remember you were like, oh my God, we gotta move.
Yeah, well, I have kids, and there's like people
can't take it,
having sex in the lot next to us and smoking drugs.
They was having sex.
Does prostitutes take people? We're taking people.
Oh, in the car.
No, in that lot.
In the dumpster. In the dumpster?
No, right next, like where if a car is parked, they go right there and go upstairs. I had to tell people several times, like we have little kids here, and you can't do that here.
I didn't know that.
And remember, the one dude who thought that was his home would be like, "Oh, you don't have to listen to them." But anyways, we digress. It's like a whole big thing.
He burnt that house down.
He did burn the house down. Jesus, it's a story for another time.
That's funny. It's a lot of stories. We only been here for 2 years. There's a lot of
if we were non-parents, it would be entertaining.
Matter, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not, and we love our house. Like, you know, it's not like we don't like the house that we're in.
We love the house that we're in. It's just the neighborhood. Even when we first bought the house, we were like, we overlooked it like twice. You know what I'm saying? Because we were like, no, I don't like the neighborhood. I don't like the neighborhood. But then it had everything that we had on our wish list.
In the house.
You know what I'm saying?
And so, I was like really ready to have a baby, so and we have home births, so we needed a home to birth in. So I don't know. So now we're like torn on what to do. Like we need some suggestions. What do you do? Do you move to the better neighborhood so that your kids and their friends go to the same school? And hopefully the parents have the same values that you have,
or do you stay in the neighborhood and send them to private school? Because you already have a theory on that, like not doing that because you rather have their friends go to the same
I
school.
really honestly do feel like, you know what I'm saying, like there's a huge difference between like me and like my cousin and my brother, how we grew up, and I think a big part of that is like the friends that we chose. And so I feel like if the less, like I know that your kids are going to pick whatever friends they want, but part of me feels like if we lived in a neighborhood where people were like watching their kids and really involved and, you know what I'm saying, home and all that kind of stuff, that, you know what I mean, our kids would have a better chance at having better friends.
Yeah. Because I worked at the public schools out here, man. It's horrible. Like it's like when you watch a movie like what's the with Michelle Pfeiffer?
What is that called?
I don't know. Dangerous Minds.
Dangerous Minds. Yeah.
Dangerous Minds. Like how they just everything is just chaos. Like that's how it literally is in the school. It's just straight chaos. And like one of the teachers, he's up there. He's just teaching, but he don't even care if the kids get it. He's just like just teaching and doing his job. And I'm just like, yo, this never be for my kids. It's nuts. Like I can never do that. You know what I'm saying?
And I truly believe that like, for some kids, especially kids who are not like brown or black or whatever, if you go to schools like that, like it can like give you a sense of diversity and like open your horizons and blah blah blah. But for like minority kids, that's not the thing that happens. Like they get sucked into this like black hole of just despair, and it winds up being a problem. And I'm not saying that that's everybody. I'm saying that that's the norm, and then everybody else is the exception. And so we want to give our kids the best life.
Absolutely.
And as much as we are spending on school right now, it's an astronomical amount of money, which people who send their kids to school, you guys understand. And so
it's not really astronomical, but it's a lot. It's a lot.
The annual amount we spend on school is basically how much a family of 4 is allowed to make to get assistance. It's a lot of money.
Okay. Sure.
So, yes, I'm talking about, and like maybe not relative to us, but like it's a lot of money because you could literally live somewhere else. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know.
Like if you combine
but those are things we gotta talk and think about. You know,
it's a struggle. It's a struggle. So that's like our dilemma for.
But we got a couple of years. Really?
Yeah, so we're gonna keep them where they're at. Obviously, like we're trying to think about like 2.5 years from now, maybe.
Yeah.
Thinking about doing it, and you know. It's just like we want to think like, what do you guys think? What would you choose if it was your kids? You move into a better neighborhood, or you staying in the neighborhood that you're in and sending them to private school
or a better school? It don't have to. It could be a charter. So I don't know.
No, if they're definite. If we stay here, they're under no circumstances.
So charter school, whatever. I don't even know the difference, honestly.
There isn't a difference, exactly.
Yeah.
No. No. If you live in the city, you pay for your kids.
Yeah. So that's a dilemma we have right now. That we're talking about. We just talked about it this morning and say, hey, we should talk about this.
Yeah, we
today.
Should talk about
you know what I'm saying? Because we always wanted to move, but we never included the kids. So now that we have kids, it's just like, oh man, like we really got to think about where do we want to go and what's the best situation for them to grow and mature. You know what I'm saying? And nurture their minds, because.
And then no matter what decision you make, it like never feels like it's
the right decision.
The right decision. Your kids they're so precious, and you have to like. It's just so worrisome.
Yeah, it's real.
All right, but we're gonna end it on that.
All right, so remember, happy wife, happy life,
happy husband, one for nothing.
Yeah, peace. Lawal Love out.